Hello, everyone. This is Adam Meister, the Bitcoin Meister, the Disrupt Meister. Welcome to the One Bitcoin Show. Today is March the 8th, 2020. And I've only got one thing to say. Strong hand. Well, conviction also. Okay, dudes, we didn't need to get complex today. Check out, hello, my elite friends. Hello, I forgot to say hello. Check out This Week in Bitcoin. Juan Galt, Ken Bozak, and Chris Black were on it. Check out yesterday's Beyond Bitcoin show if you want to hear about current events. And you know there's that one big current event going on, freaking everybody out all over the world. And I talked a lot about that on yesterday's show. DisruptMeister.com. You can watch all my old shows. Follow me on Twitter, TechBalt, TechBalt. Everything I talk about in this video, what is it? It's linked to below. Of course, it's linked to below. So yes, the best savings account ever devised by man, the most secure form of wealth storage on the planet, the biggest supply shock in the history of financial markets. Having hype, baby. Having hype. The biggest supply shock in the history of financial markets. I hadn't said that for a while. We got to change this narrative back to the having hype. I use having hype hashtag to promote this video. Let's get back on track here. There's been a lot of noise in the world this last week, and people seem to be forgetting about the glorious halving. So hype that halving. It's the biggest supply shock in the history of financial markets. So here is something from a dude named Boomer BTC. So I've got a commentary on his name too, but let me read you what he has to say here. As of right now, there are 235,013 Satoshis per person in the world. If you don't own any Bitcoin, then it takes only $20 to get your fair share now. I started tracking this metric several weeks ago and think it is simple and an important one. Well, I think it is an interesting one indeed. And it's the first step to becoming, well, to getting that one Bitcoin, right? Because that's the name of the show. The goal is to get that one Bitcoin first, then 2, then 3, then 10. You know how it goes. But the transition from being a no coiner into a something coiner, yeah, you got to get the Satoshis on your mind, I guess. And yeah, there's 7 billion people on Earth, so 7 billion times 235,013, I assume is 18 million and something. I didn't actually do the math, dude. I'm taking your word for it, Boomer, because you're pretty awesome, dude. I checked you out. You've got a history in traditional financial markets, should we say. Traditional industries, computer industries. And a lot of people like to say boomer this, boomer that, and downplay the boomers' contributions to the space. But I have said it before, don't bash the boomers. They're all welcome here. There are not that many boomers around right now. And to tell you the truth, this time of year, this week, we need that kind of boomer experience. They've seen a lot of ups and downs in their lives, a lot of crashes and all sorts of wild financial fluctuations. And they're the dudes with the strongest of hands in theory. They're not impulsive. They're not young and impulsive generally. And they can stick with something. They can stick with an investment. So I will say this, Boomer BTC, I'm glad you're trying to break it down by Satoshis, trying to make no coiners into Satoshi holders. And everyone can take a lesson from the boomers. Everyone is welcome here. And even if you don't like boomers, the glory of Bitcoin is that nobody can be banned from the space. You're all welcome. And keep on speaking up, you boomers out there. I know a lot of you are kind of shy out there on Twitter, but a few of you have contacted me. And yeah, keep on rocking in the free world. All right, as long as we've got a free world. But if you're in the Bitcoin overlay, you are in the free world. Pound that like button. Okay, Matt Odell says, it amazes me how few people can differentiate between relatively reliable sources, and complete garbage. In times like these, it is more important than ever to remain skeptical and aware. Don't trust, verify. Well, I got to tell you something, Matt. It doesn't amaze me anymore that few people can differentiate between relatively reliable sources and complete garbage, because most everything on YouTube is complete garbage, and the complete garbage is usually the most popular stuff. So, of course, they can't differentiate between complete garbage and reliable sources. They don't want reliable sources. So when we get into a situation of a sickness on the earth, people are going to, go for the scariest stuff and the biggest headlines. And you can tell some of the people are just making stuff up and are completely unreliable. But most people cannot differentiate between relatively reliable sources and complete garbage. And most everything out there is garbage, but most people are 80%ers and they like garbage and that kind of brainless entertainment. And this goes in our space also. It's just amazing how many people continue. I can scream to the rooftops about you don't need a 6-tier altcoin portfolio, but there's plenty of people out there that make videos, make articles, make tweets about 6-tier altcoins, and they're very popular. People love it. People just eat it up. They still haven't learned yet. I don't know when they're going to learn. Well, they're not going to learn. But hey, I'm not worried about those dudes, nor should you be worried about those dudes. You should be worried about yourself and take care of yourself. Personal responsibility is a new counterculture. And if people want to, make mistakes and follow cult leaders and do whatever they're going to do that. I'm speaking my mind here, and people can say they can say what they want. But one thing that people who pay attention, and most people who watch this show don't even pay attention, but those who pay attention, something that they cannot deny is that the Meister, the Bitcoin Meister, the Atom Meister, the Disrupt Meister, he's got conviction and he's got a freaking strong hand. And I've been here for quite some time and I got experience. Have you ever been experienced? By Jimi Hendrix. That's a good question. Have you ever been experienced? That's why you go to those boomers, because they remember when that song came out in 1969. I have no idea when the song came out, but they've got the experience. They don't panic. They stick with a plan. They have a system, and that's what it's about here on this with my life. So there's a lot of people that are saying these people who that Matt describes. They can't differentiate between relatively reliable sources and complete garbage. These are the same people asking, will Bitcoin ever get back to its all-time high? And they're worried by days like this, by weekends like this. And we'll get into what happened this weekend in a second with the Bitfinex thing, because that was in the title of the show. By the way, if you got questions, I got answers, type in Bitcoin Meister or do a super chat so I can actually see your question this late night in beautiful Los Angeles. And it was beautiful today. It's actually going to rain on Tuesday, which is unfortunate, but like raining once, like during my whole stay here, I think that's pretty good. Pound that like button. But where was I going? Yeah, so there are these people out there, because they're so freaking weak-handed every time that we go, and I can't believe they haven't learned this by now, because in the last 5 months, 6 months, month, we've had plenty of big drops in terms of the price. Are you not aware this is just a big roller coaster? I mean, you don't have to be in this game since 2013 to know this is a big roller coaster. But you do have to be in this game since 2013 to understand that when we reached that all-time, a past all-time high back in 2013, the Mt. Gox all-time high, I believe it was like 1150 or something. Who knows what it was? There were people asking the same questions who seriously believed it would never return to 1150 again. They thought, oh, it's at 250, it's going to zero. Oh, it just went up to 500, but then it went down to 400. It's never going back to 1150. Oh, well, and now, again, we look back, and 1150, every one of you watching this would do whatever it took to buy as many as possible at 1150, okay? So are we getting back to an all-time high? You freaking weak hands. If you don't know the answer to that, then just get out now or buy your 6-tier altcoin, watch your Bikini Babe nonsense videos or whatever you do. Lock yourself in your house and be scared about viruses. I don't know. I don't know what to say, but you probably shouldn't be owning Bitcoin if you don't think it's going back to an all-time high, because you know what we say on this freaking show? We're one day closer to an all-time high. It's returned to an all-time high every single freaking time. I don't care if it goes down by $2,000 tomorrow. It's returning to an all-time high. You just have to have a strong hand and long-term thinking, and don't ask that question every single day that it goes down by 200 points, $500, whatever. You keep asking that question, you people. Well, it's not the same ones, because the ones that ask that, they bail out. They bail out. This is a weed out. This is a weed out class, okay? They get weeded out. But new ones, new forms of them come about and ask that question over and over again. So there's the answer. No one actually, I saw that question on a few Twitter threads, okay? Please tell me, is it returning to an all? Of course it's returning to an all-time high. You just have a strong freaking hand, for God's sakes, you weep. Okay, pound that like button. Moving on, moving on down this list here. We're moving on up. All right, to the east side. Finally gotten a piece of the pie. All right. See, all right. Okay, so we'll what else do we have here? Oh yeah. So Ken Bozak was on This Week in Bitcoin. And he mentioned something that I did not know. I missed this December article. I have it linked to before. I don't know how I missed this. But Coinbase could have a quarter of all the Litecoin in existence. That is unbelievable. And just shows you that at one point, there were so many people diversifying for the sake of diversification that, and they wanted a cheaper Bitcoin. They had unit bias that and they just bought up a lot of Litecoin to diversify, and they have no idea how to send that Litecoin off of Coinbase, which, again, I said, if you're going to be freaking foolish enough to even buy an altcoin, you should at least know how to send a Bitcoin and thus how to send a Litecoin. But these people don't. At the same time, this also shows that Coinbase has a lot of freaking value held up there. And, like them or hate them, and I know their boss says a lot of, I mean, he's not the biggest Bitcoin fan in the world, but there are going to be all sorts of players in this space. Coinbase is a tremendous, tremendous player in the cryptocurrency space. Are they going to get bought out? Are people going to keep on buying the altcoin flavor of the month and leaving it at Coinbase? That probably is going to keep happening, yeah. But they're a major player, and this just really stresses it. Because Litecoin, like it or hate it, is a top-tier altcoin, and they hold a quarter of all of it. That's unbelievable. It's the same people are the ones that are asking, is it returning to its all-time high? Is Bitcoin returning to its all-time high? And they're the ones that ask, is Litecoin returning to its all-time high in fiat? They don't even realize that you got to value your freaking wealth in Bitcoin. And the question is, will Litecoin ever be a 3% of a Bitcoin again? I don't know. That's why you own Bitcoin, for God's sakes. But most of them won't even know the difference, and they'll be like, "Oh, it went to $150 or something," and Bitcoin's worth $200,000. And they won't even get the value of your wealth in Bitcoin thing. Many people don't get that. It's quite unfortunate. Most people who own altcoins don't know how to value their wealth in Bitcoin at all. They don't know how to look at the freaking chart to see how much it's worth in terms of Bitcoin. They're just looking at the dollars and this, that makes them feel better, I guess, that they could have been owning Bitcoin and doing better, but hey, look, it went up in dollars, so it's better than having a bank account, or it might be, sometimes probably owning Litecoin is better than owning a savings account. I mean, I would rather own Litecoin than gold. Yeah, of course. Over the long run. Now, so what else do we have here? This is the future. Cryptocurrency is the freaking future. And there will be altcoin pumps again. That doesn't mean you should bet on them. That's ridiculous. So, okay, here, speaking of gold, what do we have here? This is a tweet from Jan Gold. Brazilian guy arrives at Amsterdam airport in transit to Hong Kong with 15 kilograms of gold in his luggage. He was arrested. The article translated from Dutch says that he couldn't give a good enough explanation of what the gold was doing in his luggage. I kid you not. And that he was arrested for money laundering. Should have worn it around his neck. No, dudes, it's confiscatable. Be very careful with that old asset class. Don't put it in your luggage. Really. You can't get your gold out of your country. It's quite difficult, and bad things can happen to you. Very bad things. That's a lot different than trying to get Bitcoin out of your country. There's some quite easy ways to get the Bitcoin out of your country without even having it can get out of the country before you get out of the country. Gold, not so much, as that shows. So let's talk about Bitfinex closes the day with having market sold 21,000 Bitcoin using $200,000 spams since the daily open. Uncharacteristically large volume. And that's a tweet from Hasaka Traders. And so on a related note, a guy named Kevin Svensson says, PlusToken scam moved another 13,000 Bitcoin yesterday, worth $118 million. They also did something similar after Bitcoin crossed above $10,000 this year. They are slamming the market with sell orders. Essentially, we have a giant whale unloading after every move up. All right, so for those of you that need explanations, that really need explanation of why the Bitcoin price goes down $1,000 in a day or in a weekend or whatever the heck happened, there's some excuses for you right there. And it's a combined. Clearly, there's on Bitfinex alone, somebody is just market selling large amounts of Bitcoin over and over and over again. And at the same time, the day before, the PlusToken people moved their Bitcoin. So perhaps it is them. Those guys who tricked a lot of people into sending them Bitcoin, they're getting rid of their Bitcoin. And when you get rid of a lot of Bitcoin during a week where all sorts of people are panic selling about, that the end of the world has come, and end of the world has not come. It's a bad combo for the Bitcoin price. But when you've got long-term thinking like we do here, we know it's just another day closer to that all-time high. Now, something that happened this weekend on Saturday night in Brooklyn, sadly, Adam Kownacki, a heavyweight boxer who loves Bitcoin, he lost. He lost his fight in the 4th round. And unfortunately, that takes him a few steps away from getting a title shot, which is sad because I wanted Adam Kownacki to get a title shot because it would give him lots of publicity and more people would follow him on Twitter and more people would find out about Bitcoin in the mainstream. But hey, that's what happens in competition. He lost. Good luck to him in the future, and start winning again, and maybe you'll get your title shot in 2022 or something. It takes a while in the heavyweight division. It takes a while. From what I hear about boxing, I'm not a big boxing fan. Back in the day, in the 50s, it was boxing and horse racing and professional wrestling, college football, and yes, professional wrestling was fake then. That's what my father told me, at least in Baltimore. That was all very popular, that kind of thing. I used to watch. YouTube is kind of cool. It's something you can do with your dad or your granddad, depending on the age. They might remember big fights from back in the day, and my dad would tell me about big. And then when YouTube came around, I was like, "What? Look, we can watch these old fights." He's like, "I haven't seen this since 1956 or whatever it was." And that was nice. That was nice to watch that with my dad. So free loving MGTOW says, "You don't fear the virus?" I don't. Yeah, dude. To say the least, I don't fear the virus. Watch Saturday's show, okay, man. It's about that. It's ridiculous. I'm a very healthy individual. So if you're a healthy individual, you really don't have anything to worry about. So, but there are plenty of people worrying, aren't they? We're going to get to that in a second. Jorn Virtuos. And again, if you want elaboration, watch yesterday's show. I'm not going to get into it on today's show. Jorn, and it's just a shame so many people are wasting time even thinking about this flu. Jorn Vircher said, if the next all-time high will have half the parabolic upward momentum that the last one had, we'll be looking at 212,000 US dollars. Okay, in the autumn of 2021. Just my opinion. You're right. I know you did that math correctly too, because you got the date right. Also, it will be probably, if it follows the same pattern as last time, it'll be 210,000 blocks since the previous. That's not the exact pattern, but every 210,000 blocks it's more. So, no, we've had the 2013 all-time high was December of 2013. So 210,000 blocks after that was October of 2017. So no, it wasn't that wasn't perfect, but we did reach an all-time high in October of 2017. We did, but then we kept breaking it over and over again. So I got your point. You did your math correctly, dude. I know where you got that number. Hey, dude, I'm not saying 6-digit realm or $200,000, which is the same thing, but higher than what some people would say. I just know we're getting to an all-time high, and I just believe in the 210,000 block theory that 210,000 blocks from our last all-time high, which was in December of 2017, in October of 2021, will be higher than that. Okay, will be higher than that if things go according to schedule, according to the tradition of the 210,000 block theory. So I think that's a good theory. Is true to this very day. It's still true to this very day. All right, moving on. What do we got? But thank you for the question. Thank you. And, it's good to have a positive take, dude. I don't like to say big numbers. Everybody knows I don't like to say big numbers. But, dude, it's better to say big numbers than to be worried about some virus, okay? Okay? It's better to be positive about this golden age than what some of these doomers are doing lately. And we're going to get into what they're doing in a second. And so, let's talk about some reality here for you flu people, you woo flu people. Neil Woodfine, who I've had on the show before, best freaking guest in the space, by the way, I have here. He says, here in Thailand, everyone has been getting on with life as normal for weeks, despite the very high quantity of Chinese tourists. A bit of prepping, some extra hand wash and mask, and that's about it. Take that into consideration, people. Here's another bright side of things tweet. This is from Andy Hoffman, actually. He says, Bitcoin FUD never ends and won't until it becomes globally mainstream. Now, I think if Bitcoin becomes mainstream, there'll still be FUD. But your point is, if the virus actually slows Chinese mining, and he says it won't, and I say it probably won't, it would simply cause mining to diversify globally in extremely bullish development. He is correct about that. If Chinese mining ever were to go down, it would simply cause mining to diversify globally. And that would be bullish. That would be bullish. More competition, mining being in more than one location. Well, in many, many, many locations is better than just being in a few locations. All right. So I talked about having hype. Bring it back, dudes. Bring it back. Strong Hand 2024. Now let's talk about the opposite of Strong Hand 2024. Doug Casey, and I don't know if he actually he approved this because his name is behind this. That email that I get from him like every day from his newsletter, which I don't pay for or anything like that. But there's a free version that gets sent out. The title, the clickbait title, and this works. In this day and age, this works. And just like people believe this nonsense. The Greater Depression is coming. That's really easy to say when you've got all these people panic stricken about this nonsense that's going to pass. But I want to say, no, the Greater Depression is not coming. You've been saying that since before I was born. Okay? So the golden age is what we're in right now. And there are a lot of people that are saying, oh, 2020 sucks. Why does this suck, dude? Why does it suck? There's all sorts of great things going on. We've had some economic disturbances the last, 10 days or so? I mean, come on, you short-termers. This is an awesome decade. The world is a-changing. Rockets are being built. Elon Musk is innovating. Elon Musk is speaking the truth about this virus. All right, so, but people like to look at the negative side of things. They want a Greater Depression. There's a certain segment of the population of doomers that love this. They eat it up. They've been dreaming of the end of the world for so long. It's not coming. But here we go. Bitcoin Magazine, they canceled the 2020 event. They didn't cancel it. They moved it until the fall, to the third quarter. Not the fall, until Q3, I believe. All right, so they gave into. So I won't be in San Francisco at the end of the month because the event got canceled. And yeah, it's disappointing. It's definitely disappointing, but they went with the flow. Again, I'm not getting into this train of panic and doom, and I am going about my life as I always have. I will be traveling. I will be doing everything. I will be doing a new show every freaking day, and I'm not worried at all. Watch Saturday's show if you need more elaboration on that. And Esser. So my dad told me about this boxer. I never heard of him before. He was from the 50s. His name was like Esser or something like that. Ezra? It wasn't Ezra. It was Esser. He said he was good. We watched some videos of it together. I was like, nobody uses that. I don't even remember the exact name anymore. But no one uses that name anymore. Esser? Somebody look it up. Who was that boxer from the 50s that was good? Maybe Esser or something like that. And nobody uses that name anymore, but I don't know. All right, so we got one final note here, and this is also beyond Bitcoin. It's a song to listen to. And what is this song called that I found the other day? Refound. Will His Love Be Like His Rum by Harry Belafonte from 1956. So at some point during my father liked that song. He got this Best of Harry Belafonte compilation and would play it during my youth. And my siblings and I would run around, and I hadn't heard that song for so long, and it just puts the biggest smile on my face. So I linked to it below, and you guys, it's not my usual type of music, obviously Harry Belafonte, but it was something my dad liked because again, it was from his youth. So listen to it. Maybe you guys will find it entertaining. A lot of you guys know Harry Belafonte songs from various movies like Beetlejuice and some other ones. I don't know, but that one's a good one. What's it called? What's this one? Will his love be like his rum? Will his love? Yeah. So he sings about women and alcohol a lot. I didn't realize that when I was a little kid. Pound that like button. All right, dudes. On that happy note, I'm Adam Meister, the Bitcoin Motion Disrupt Meister. Remember to subscribe to this channel, like this video, share this video. Check out the links below, especially that Harry Belafonte. That Harry Belafonte song. And but check out all those other links too. And I'll say hi to you dudes in the chat. We're one day closer to an all-time high. Life is great, dudes. What's wrong, man? All right, see you soon. Bye-bye.